Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this session. This session will be held in English. I am Daniela Cicluna, Head of Department Digital Literacy at the Directorate for Digital Literacy and Transversal Skills within the Ministry for Education. Together with my colleague Wendy De Celis, we will be giving you an overview of MS Teams. We're going to discuss and show you how to access MS Teams and some features that have to do with accessing the children's class team. This session is one of many other sessions that are being organized by our Directorate for educators, students, and even parents. In the past few months, we have seen teachers both locally and internationally using MS Teams as a tool for teaching and learning. In this way, the contact between students and teachers could be made possible in a virtual way. One should note that all this was possible as educators used MS Teams together with other digital tools. If there are any questions, please post in the Q&A. We'll be checking your queries and questions, and we will be answering them throughout the session. Let me share my presentation. During this session, I will be giving a basic introduction to Microsoft Teams, how to access Microsoft Teams, the students, I'm going to show you an example of a student's class team, and how to join live sessions in MS Teams. Finally, I will give you a few online behavior tips for during the sessions that students will have with their teachers. Before we start, I would like you to go to menti.com on your browser. We're going to ask you a few questions. When you go to menti.com, it will ask you for a code. The code is 5309947. 5309947. We'll be asking you a few questions. Let me repeat. The website is menti.com and the code is 5309947. The first question we'll be asking you is what device you are using during the session. Is it a mobile, a personal tablet, a laptop, computer? Wendy, can you share your screen, please? Okay. All right, let me remind you the code 5309947. As you can see, most of you are using a laptop or computer, and even some of you are using smartphone or personal tablet. This shows that most students and parents use different ways of sharing and logging on to different sessions. Okay.
Thank you for your answers.
We can move on to question 2. Wendy. How did you communicate with your child's teacher during these few months? Was it through emails, through MS Teams? You can write down your comments. Most of you are already entering your comments. Yes, Messenger, email. Most of you used the email, Teams.
It seems to be most popular.
Yes. As you can see, you have used different tools. There are a variety of ways that you have communicated with the teacher. You mostly used email, MS Teams, Messenger. There are a few who used Facebook. I would like to point out a few things from this. When using these tools, it does not mean the teacher is always available all day. There are particular times when the teacher is available to communicate with the students. Teachers are preparing activities, correcting and giving feedback on the work sent by students. Teachers have more than one student. So although technology gives us the flexibility of communicating anytime, we need to show respect. So if a teacher sent an email, the students have time to send back their work in their own time. But then obviously we have to give a chance to the teacher to reply or give feedback. Okay, so we need to show some respect in regards to this. Thank you, Wendy, for sharing the screen. Let me go on to share my screen now. Okay. Let's move on to the presentation. Before I start explaining about MS Teams, I would like to talk to you about online learning. Online learning is a mode of learning. We learn in different ways. We are usually accustomed to learning in a classroom setting at school. But online learning is another way of learning. During the school closure period, we found different ways of learning. Teachers adapted their work and materials for teaching and learning to continue online. This does not mean that online learning happens when we can't attend school or has to stop when we start attending school. Online learning complements learning at school, and they can go both together. So we can have online learning and materials that the teacher gives us at school. As regards to online learning, we have two types of online learning. These are synchronous and asynchronous. Both of them have their own benefits, and the teacher decides which to use accordingly to what she wants to teach. And in fact, many teachers use both types of online learning together. Like live sessions like the one we are taking part at the moment is an example of synchronous learning, where students are online at the same time. Communication happens there and then. The students are listening and participating during the session like you have done whilst using menti.com. Students can discuss during a live session with the teacher, with their peers. They are encouraged to present their work during these live sessions, and feedback is also given in real time immediately by the teacher. If they have questions, for example, to ask the teacher, they could do it during these live sessions. On the other hand, asynchronous learning is when students learn using the materials the teacher sent. The teacher uses technology to create material, like, for example, preparing notes, creating a video recording of the lesson, sharing links to different websites or to videos, online activities, for example, and make these available for her students, either by email, by sending them through email, or else by uploading these on MS Teams. The teacher can also send work, for example, a video recording of herself explaining the lesson and a handout to work out after they watched the video. And then they work this out and send it back to the teacher, either using MS Teams or through email. Here I would like to point out that if the teacher sent work for students to work it out and send it back to be corrected, it would be helpful as parents, so that we make sure that our children send in their work, so that the teacher can correct it and then plan and prepare other lessons. All right, so as parents, we have to check if our children are really sending the work that the teacher has asked them to do. So, as you can see, learning doesn't only happen through live sessions. Okay, teachers plan and prepare lessons according to the needs of her class. Okay, sometimes there are times when the teacher sees that, for example, parents work and can't stay with their children during the live session, or maybe there are other siblings who have other lessons during that time. Okay, so teachers adapt to the situation. So as you can see, synchronous and asynchronous go together. Okay. Now we can move on to MS Teams. We are going to show you how to access MS Teams. We can either do this through MS Teams app found on the tablet. And the students in year 4, 5, and 6 have the MS Teams app on in the toolbox on the tablet. I will show you soon. You can also download MS Teams app on a laptop or desktop computer. You can, if you're using an Android or Apple device, you can do this through Play Store or App Store. And you can also use MS Teams through the browser. If you log on to office.com or teams.microsoft.com, you can access Teams through the browser. Okay, in fact, here, this is MS Teams on a school tablet. As you can see, this is the toolbox. All right, and MS Teams is the app of MS Teams is down here. Okay. Downloading MS Teams app onto your laptop, if you go to the browser and write Microsoft Teams download, okay, it will direct you to this URL. We will be posting it in the question and answer chat, okay, so that you can just click on it. And then all you have to do is click on download for desktop, okay? And it will be installed onto your laptop or computer. Those of you who are using an Android or Apple device, as I said, you can download MS Teams app from the Play Store or App Store. And those of you who would like to use MS Teams on their browser, okay, all you have to do is go to www.office.com, okay, log in with the student's Microsoft account, and then click on Teams.
Daniela, can you please
Yes.
share your screen?
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let me repeat. MS Teams can be found on the school tablet in the toolbox. Okay, the students in year 4, 5, and 6 can log on to Teams using the app found on the tablet. Those of you who would like to download MS Teams on your laptop, just write Microsoft Teams download in your browser, and you will be directed to this URL, and then click on Download for Desktop. Those of you who would like to download MS Teams app on your Android or Apple device, you can go to Play Store or App Store. And those of you who would like to use the browser, to use Teams on the browser, you can go to www.office.com and click on Teams. Okay. For all these students need to use their Microsoft login details that the school gave them. Okay, state school students need to use their iLearn account. All right, those students who are in church schools or independent schools, they would need their Microsoft login details that the school gave them. If students are in early years or junior years and don't have their Microsoft login details, all you have to do is ask the SMT for these. Students who will be starting school now, you will be given these details later on. Okay, the school will give them the Microsoft login email and password, okay, so that they will be able to log in to MS Teams and other apps. Let's move on to MS Teams. So as soon as the student logs into MS Teams, the teacher creates a class team so that she will be able to organize live sessions and also upload educational material, announcements and assignments for her students. When students access MS Teams, they click on the MS Teams tab here, okay, where they can find their MS team, their class team. Now here you're seeing a lot of teams. Students in primary schools will probably have just the teachers team. Okay, all they have to do is click on the teachers team. Apart from the teams button, okay, as you can see, there are other buttons here. Okay, I will be going through these quickly. The activity tab here is where students find a list of notification of whatever goes on in the team. So if the teacher, for example, sends an announcement in the team, the student will see a notification in the activity tab. All right, any announcement, assignments, posts, for example, okay, these will all be notified, the students will be notified through the activity tab. In the chat tab, I suggest this is used cautiously by students. Okay, the Teams tab, we have done it already. The assignments tab is where students can find the list of assignments the teacher sent on MS Teams. Those of you who don't see it, who are not seeing it on this side, don't worry, they will find it in the class team as well. Okay. The next one is the calendar. In the calendar, the students will find their calendar, which they can use to plan their week, for example, and they will also find the live sessions that the teacher scheduled and invited them to join. I will show you. This is an example. Okay, this is an example of a lesson. Okay, the students will find the live session the teacher scheduled. And a few minutes before the session, a few minutes before the lesson, they will have the join button. All right, so the students can join a few minutes before the lesson. It's very important that students join the lesson a few minutes before, not half an hour or an hour before. Okay, this is an example of how a class team is organized. Teachers can organize their team in different ways. Okay, she might add channels over here for different subjects, for example, okay, and then add materials to the file section. So every channel has the file section. So if, for example, she created an English channel, okay, she will probably put all the notes and resources in the file section of that particular subject. Okay, she can also choose to leave just the general channel. Okay, and then add all the educational material in the file section of the general channel. So the teacher will decide how to organize her class team. As you can see here in the general channel, the teacher can post announcements, all right, and all the assignments that are sent by the teacher in the assignments tab will also be shown in the general channel. Okay, so the general channel is where you have the teacher's announcements, teacher's comments, for example, and also the assignments. All right. Up here, as you can see, there is the file section, the class notebook where the teacher might use. This is very similar to a normal notebook, okay, where she might put up notes and information. Okay, this is the assignment tab. I will go into it very soon. And the grades. Okay, these two, I will go into them very soon. The assignments tab, when the student clicks on the assignments tab, okay, they will have a list of assignments that the teacher assigned, and also those that are completed, that were completed by the student. Okay, so the new assigned assignments will be in the assigned section, and those that were done by the student in the completed section. Okay, now I'm going to show you when the student clicks on the assignment, on one of the assignments in the list, the assignment can be seen in detail, as you can see here. Okay, the teacher usually adds instructions. Okay, so here you can see the title, the due date, okay, when the student has to finish and submit his work. All right, here are also instructions that the teacher sent so that they can be able to do their work. Down here, then the student can find the Word document that he has to work out. Maybe the teacher sent also a link, okay? All the material that has been sent by the teacher will be found here, okay? When the student clicks on it, does the work, and clicks on close, okay, he can turn it in. Okay, so when he is done, when the student is done from doing his work, okay, he can click on turn in. This will be sent to the teacher to correct. Down here, as you can see, this is where the student can add other work. For example, a picture regarding the work. Okay, so or else some extra work, for example. Okay, this is where the students can add their work. Now, in the grade section, as you can see up here, you have the assignments, all right, where the students can find and submit their work, and then they click on grades to see whether the teacher sent the corrected work back. Okay, as you can see in the grades section, the student will find all his assignments, and if they were turned in, all right, so this will show not turned in, will show that the student didn't do his work yet, okay, and returned means that the teacher corrected his work and sent some feedback or else marks. All right, so this, when it's returned, it means that the student, the teacher corrected the student's work. It is important that as parents, okay, when if you check the grade section and you see that work has not been turned in, please try and help your children to turn in their work on time. Okay. The next one is the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is how to join an MS Teams meeting. Okay. Yes.
I think before moving on to the next part of the presentation, I think we should answer. There has been a question asking, so assignments will only be written online, no handwritten assignments anymore. I think we should emphasize that the purpose of the session is to explain to parents and give an overview of how MS Teams can be used. We are not saying that all the work will be done online. We are not saying that students will not be writing their tasks anymore. We are just showing possibilities of software which can be used with the class teacher, by the class teacher, as a tool, as another teaching tool.
Exactly.
Obviously, it is up to the teacher to decide which tools to use for her teaching, and also which tools to use for online teaching. We are showing MS Teams as an example, but the teacher could opt for other methods for teaching.
Exactly. The teacher will decide which tools to use with her particular class.
Yeah. Obviously, the teacher will decide in the best interest of her students.
Of her students, exactly. Are there any other questions?
For the time being, no. I think we can move on to the next session.
All right.
To the next section. Obviously, I'd like to remind the attendees that they can post their questions into the Q&A section, and we will answer accordingly.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, so when the teacher schedules a live session, there are various ways that students can join this meeting. They will receive an email which will include a link to join the meeting. Okay, they will find the link to the meeting in the calendar as I showed you before. Okay, and they can also find the join button in the general channel in the teachers team. Okay, before I showed you the general channel with announcements and assignments. When the teacher schedules a meeting, an announcement is made in the general channel, and just before the meeting starts, here they will have the join button, just like I showed you in the calendar, over here. Okay, so this meeting here, okay, will have a join button just before a few minutes before the meeting. It is very important that students join the meeting on time. So if the lesson starts, for example, at 9, students should log in a few minutes before, not an hour before. It's useless joining the meeting, the lesson an hour before, or sending a message to the teacher that there is no one in the lesson. All right, if the lesson starts later on, obviously. Okay, so it's important that students log in just a few minutes before the lesson. When they click on the join button, okay, as I showed you, they will be directed to this window. Okay, over here, they have the camera option, whether to switch it on or off, the mic. Over here, it's not really being seen, but here there is a button to change the background. Okay, the mic, most of the time, it is best to enter the meeting with our mic muted. If we are using a room where there is lots of noise, these will be heard and can disrupt the lesson. So it's best to enter the meeting with our mic muted. Okay, it's best to find a quiet place so that the students focus on what's going on during the lesson. I know and understand that this is not always possible, but we as parents have to try to help our children focus during a lesson and pay attention to the live sessions. During the lesson, the teacher might ask the students questions or might ask the students to present their work. So obviously they have to learn how to switch on their mic, okay, from here. And we have to be careful what background noises there are in the house as parents, okay? Sometimes we forget that our child is participating in a lesson, and if we're on the phone, or talking to someone in the house, if the child has the microphone on, obviously everything is going to be heard. Okay, so it is important that students learn to switch on and off their mic. So when they are talking, they switch it on. As soon as they stop talking, they switch their microphone off. Okay, if the teacher asks students to switch off their mic, it is very important that we do so. Okay, there is also the raise hand button, which I will be showing you soon, for students to use so that they don't disturb or disrupt the lesson. Okay, so that the teacher will know that the student would like to talk. I will show you in a moment. The camera, you can choose to set it off before entering. If the teacher asks for this to be switched off, it is important to obey. It might be that the connection is slow with everyone's camera switched on, so we have to listen to the teacher's instructions. There are teachers who ask the students to switch on their camera to talk, and even so that the students can interact between them. In fact, there are teachers who allow cameras to be switched on, okay, at the beginning of the lesson, so the students can see their friends and interact with them. But it is very important to listen and to obey to the teacher's instructions, okay? The background, as I showed you here, it's a very good feature found on MS Teams. So before switching on your camera, you can choose a background, okay, so that you don't need to show what's going on in the background. For example, if there's someone cooking in the background, or a family member watching TV or whatever, all right, this way, in this way, the student will only be seen, just he will be seen. Okay, the background will be different. This helps for privacy, especially if we're changing from one room to the other. All right, we don't need to show the kitchen and then the next day the living room, for example. So it is important that the children learn how to change the background before switching on the camera, okay, to keep their privacy. An important thing on this is that students who use MS Teams on their browser, okay, won't have the background feature. This the background feature only works on those who download the app. Okay, so students who will be using Teams on the browser, for privacy, they can find a place in the house where they have, for example, the wall behind them. All right, so that in this way, they're not showing the entire house. Another important point before I move on is when participating during a lesson and students have their microphone and cameras on, we have to make sure that we behave, okay? Students behave during the lesson so as not to disturb the rest of the class, okay? No eating, for example, no funny faces during the lesson. Obviously, so that the rest of the class can focus. And another point, before the live session, before the live lesson, students should prepare the things that he needs for during that lesson. Okay, so that the class won't stay having to wait for a particular student to look for his biros or for the material that they need. Okay, when they click then on join now, all right, so from here you set up the microphone, the camera and the background, and then the students click on join now. Okay, and this is what will appear. Up on top there will be a few tools that I would like to show you. The word is number one. The first one is the conversation, the chat that goes on during the live session. This is used to ask for students to ask questions. If the teacher asks the question and asks them to write down the answer in the chat, they will be able to do so. Okay. These live sessions give us the opportunity to communicate with our teacher. So it is important that they make the best of these sessions. Okay, so if they don't want to ask by switching on their microphone, they can do so also in the chat. Okay. Number two, here there is the raise hand feature that I spoke to you before. Okay, students who don't want to disrupt the teacher and show her that they want to talk, they can click on the raise hand feature, the raise hand button, and the teacher will know that the student raised his hand. The three dots here are for more actions, more settings. If, for example, the student has problems with sound, maybe they connected headphones and these are not working, All they have to do is click on the 3 dots and click on the device settings, okay, to arrange the settings of the headphones. Apart from this, down here, there is also apply background effects. This is also to change the background. So you can change the background before the meeting, or else you can change it during the meeting through, from the 3 dots. Okay, you click on the 3 dots and then click on apply background effects. Okay, number 4 here, there is the share screen button. This is used usually by the teacher to share her screen, as I'm doing myself today, all right, to share anything that she wants during the lesson. Okay, some teachers might also ask the students to share their work through this button. That's why I'm showing it to you. Okay. I would like to remind you on how to access MS Teams. You can do so. The students can access MS Teams on their school tablet. Those students who are in year 4, 5, and 6. This is found in the toolbox on the school tablet. You can also download the MS Teams app on your laptop or computer. Those of you who are using Android or Apple devices, you can do so through Play Store and App Store, or else those of you who would like to use Microsoft Teams on the browser, you can go to www.office.com, okay, and then click on Microsoft Teams. Okay, in fact, it's very important for students to use their Microsoft login account, all right, for these sessions, to access the class team. Okay, when they go to office.com, when they click on, they log in, okay, with their Microsoft account, they can also download Microsoft tools, okay, and they will be able to have Word, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft tools, as you can see here. This also applies to the toolbox found on the tablet. There are many apps that the students can use whenever they want. All right, so apart from the MS Teams app, okay, there are reading apps, for example, BrainPop and Literacy Pro. These can be used by year 6 students. Okay, there is also Author Premium and J2E tools that can be used for creative writing, all right, in year 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so students would, if they would like to write any creative writing, they can use these tools. These can be found in the toolbox. Are there any questions, Wendy?
Yes, someone asked, will the students see other students who are in the lesson, or will they only see the teacher? If there's more than one person with the camera on during a live session, they can see each other, yes. But obviously, as we said, this is up to the teacher to ask the students to switch on or off the camera. Maybe the teacher gives the option as well, but it depends on the lesson. Sometimes the teacher might ask everyone to switch off the camera to help the connection, to help have a smoother connection. Someone else asked whether there's a task assigned which requires the students to complete their homework on a copybook or on a textbook and take a photo. Yes, it would be possible for the students to take a photo and upload the photo of their work in an assignment. But obviously, please follow the teacher's instructions when a task is assigned.
They can do so when I show them how to assign to where they can add their work in the assignment.
Maybe we can show that slide again.
Yes, yes. Okay, this is where they have to, where they can send their work. They can do the work that the teacher sent, and they can also add the work. So if the teacher asked to take a photo of the copybook and send it, okay, the students can do so through here. Okay, any other questions?
No, not really for the time being. Let me. Someone is asking whether there is a way of communicating privately with the teacher. Obviously, the teacher.
I think the teacher will inform, yes,
the best
exactly.
way to get in touch with her. But obviously, every teacher works differently, and then the teacher will guide you on how to keep in touch. I think there's also another question about do we have to update the tablets ourselves? Usually in schools we tell the students of about how this can be done by clicking the three dots on the top right and then clicking on check for updates. But should the students need to do that, they will be advised by the teacher. Someone is asking whether the students will be using the same school books and textbooks which were bought for this year. Unfortunately, we can't answer that question because this session is about the use of MS Teams. So in that case, we advise you to ask that question to the school administration. I think here we can allow a few minutes for questions.
For questions, yes, yes. In the meantime, I would like to remind you about our website, digitalliteracy.scola.edu.mt. You might find useful information, okay, regarding digital literacy. Our email is also digital-literacy@ilearn.edu.mt. We also have a Facebook page, Digital Education in Malta. And if you need, there's a helpline 2598 1000. Okay. I think we can, before we leave,
the feedback form.
Yes, we would like you to fill in the feedback form. We'll write it down in the announcement.
Okay. I included the link for feedback in the Q&A. Obviously, we appreciate your feedback a lot because it helps us to improve our sessions for future sessions. So please give us your feedback. In case of any difficulties after this session, kindly get in touch with us on the email address shown on the screen, digital-literacy@ilearn.edu.mt. Or you can also reach us on the MEDA helpline to 598 1000.
As far as I can see, there are no questions at the moment, so we can end the session. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope it was useful. As we told you, it is according to the teacher to decide which tools to use and how to use it. Okay, she will use it accordingly with her particular class. Thank you for attending, and I wish you a good day.